Hey family, welcome back to the Live Fancy podcast entitled Think Fancy, a place where we discuss concepts, ideas, perspectives, and insights that will cause you to truly think fancy, to make the mental choice to foster achievement, never compromising you. I believe there is greatness on the inside of you, and I am committed to helping you release it. Why? Because someone is waiting for you. Welcome back again, family, to another episode. As always, I'm so grateful that you're here. Friendly reminder once again to make sure that you subscribe, that you like, that you follow whatever platform that you're on. Make sure that you are plugged in so that you get notifications of each and every new episode. And as always, I am so honored if you would share any of these podcasts with someone that you believe can truly benefit from the content therein. I want to help every single person to release the greatness that is on the inside of them and let them know for sure that someone is waiting for you. I started out saying I'm so excited about this episode, and truth be told, behind the scenes, this is probably the fourth time that I've recorded this same episode. And I'm not as excited about it. And I wanted to change it, and I wanted to change my attitude so that it was upbeat and it was everything. But I want to be authentic with you. And it's not that it's a bad topic. It's not even that it's, I'm unprepared or I don't like it. But it was interesting to me. And I think there's something in that. And so I decided I'm going to include that in this week's episode. Now, this season is exciting for me in many different ways, because this season is literally talking about embracing change. And I am personally going through a season of change. And every episode that I have the opportunity to share with you is one that I have either embraced or am trying to embrace, because I understand the benefit and I'm learning to appreciate the different concepts that will help change to be for my good. But sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable. And sometimes even talking about it, I get nervous about it because I'm like, is this really hitting? Is this really landing? Is this really doing what I want it to do? All the more reason why this episode is important, even if it's not as exciting. This week's episode, we're talking about changing your perspective. And when I think about that, it's literally about changing how you see things. It's about changing how you approach things. In one of my social media posts, in what I call Empower Minutes, and what those are simply moments that we take to empower each other. A moment to remind you that you have greatness already on the inside of you. To remind you that you have what it takes to move forward. You just need to allow it to come out. You just need to harness it. You need to allow the Lord to develop it. You need to press forward and be confident in it. So each of those empower minutes that usually are a little bit more than 60 seconds are intended to do just that. And so in one of my empower minutes, I was talking about what I heard someone say, and it was, you have to see before you see. And it means that you have to see it with your internal eyes. You have to see it in the unseen before you see it in the reality. Why? Because you have to be excited about and prepared for the thing that you're expecting to come. Because if you're just waiting around for it, when it comes, you won't be ready. And when you just say it like that, it makes the most sense. But sometimes we don't think about it and we're just waiting for it to happen, and then we will. Once it happens, then I will. Once it happens, I'll start. Once it happens, I'll be. Once it happens, no, you need to be prepared for it so that when it happens, you're ready to run. You're ready to take off. And so the same concept applies here when we're talking about changing your perspective. The Collins Dictionary defines perspective as a specific point of view in understanding or judging things. A specific point of view in understanding or judging things. When we're talking about embracing change, when we're talking about releasing greatness, when we're talking about moving forward, we may have to look at things and determine that we need to change our specific point of view in understanding things. I'll give you an example. As you've heard me say, I've been talking a lot about either eating healthier or going to the gym. And if I look at going to the gym as a chore, as this thing that I absolutely have to do, and I'm dreading it, and I do it grudgingly, and it's just this thing that I know I have to do to get to my goal, every time that I do it, there's a drag, because that's the way that I see it. I see it as just this necessity, this thing I have to do, this thing that's just a chore. But, in order to get my results, I have to do it. However, if I change my point of view in understanding or judging it, I can look at it differently. I can say, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to be healthier. It's a great opportunity to get my body moving, to get my body used to getting in movement again consistently. This is an opportunity for me to be one step closer to my goal. This is an opportunity for me to do something different so that I can reach my true desired accomplishment or outcome. We know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So this is my opportunity to do something different so that I can see the results that I've been hoping for. Even saying that just now puts a smile on my face versus saying, I gotta go to the gym. I need to go in there. And now there are some reasons why I don't particularly like going to the gym. Typically, it's because I don't know what I'm doing. So many times I've seen people and I feel, if I'm honest, sometimes I feel intimidated when I look at other people and the amount of weights that they're able to do, or their seeming flow and ease and how they're working out on the machines, or even in free weights, or just using their body weight. And I'm just like, yeah, I want to get there. And then I try it out. And after 5 different times of lifting one thing, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. A little bit of an exaggeration. However, it still feels that way. It feels sometimes that I'm just unequipped and unable to do it right. And it just seems like a long time spent not doing the right things to reach my goal. But there are ways I can change that. There are videos that I can watch. There are people that I can talk to. There are classes that I can take. There's a way for me to change that perspective and that to change my experience. But in order to do that, I have to approach the gym differently. I have to change my point of view of understanding or judging this thing. I have to see it as we talked about last time, trusting the process, knowing that simply going to the gym on a consistent basis will definitely make a difference in my body, in my health, in my energy, in my desired goal. And the opposite of not going to the gym will absolutely prevent me from reaching the goal that I'm saying that I want to accomplish. So I have to change my perspective. When we're talking about releasing greatness, when we're talking about stepping out and doing things that are scary, and doing things that are foreign, and doing things that have potential to be so impactful and yet at the same time be so detrimental, it can be very easy to look at those things with such intimidation and trepidation and just wanting to decrease and back away. But we have to change our perspective. Even in doing these podcasts, and this season has not been as fluid as the previous seasons. I haven't been able to do them as often as I'm used to doing them, and that has bothered me. I like being here with you each and every week and being able to share these with you, and not being able to do so for whatever the reason is something that doesn't always sit well with me. And so that was why today I was absolutely confident that even if this gets out late, this will get out this week, because I want to continuously help and encourage you as I'm also encouraging myself. But in that moment, and I've talked about this before, I was looking at, the views and how many streams and how many people actually listen all the way to the end. And I was beginning to get discouraged once again. But I had to change my perspective. I'm not doing this so that I get 100 different views in 1 week. I would love to. But if I don't, that doesn't stop me from doing it. Why? Because I believe in what I'm telling you. I believe it because I'm experiencing it. I believe it because I am confident that if one person was able to listen to this and embrace what we're talking about, they would have there would be a difference in their life. There would be a change that would happen, and they would have the potential then to go influence and impact others. And so maybe I don't see those other people listening to this podcast, but the simple fact of knowing that one person that I was able to reach is thereby able to go reach others, that's a success to me. So my perspective is I have to be here. I have to get this out to you because we're changing lives. We're making a difference. And it's not based on what I can see because I can't see you. It's based on me knowing that this was something that was placed on my heart for me to do. This was something that was on the inside of me that had to come out. And so each and every time I will be here to bring this forward because I am confident that it is changing and impacting someone's life. I have to change my perspective. And it's easy to fall into the trap of all of the distractions that would cause you to doubt, that will cause you to want to stop, that will cause you to become negative, disappointed, or again, just want to give up. You have to change your perspective. In this season of embracing change, you have to make the decision to say, I am going to change my view of understanding or judging this thing because I believe in its outcome. If I can believe in its outcome, then that means I need to change my mind about the way I'm going to get to that outcome, the way that I'm going to accomplish that outcome, the way that I'm going to reach that outcome. I saw an amazing quote about this, and it says, your perspective will either become your prison or your passport. And that quote is by Pastor Stephen Furtick. And it's so true. Like, the way that you view things will either become a prison that you will have to struggle to get out of, or it will become your passport that will give you access to the world, literally. The way you think about a thing has the potential to limit your ability to move forward, has the ability to limit your ability to see your own progress even in the middle of it. It has the ability to limit your impact because even you don't believe in it. And thereby it puts you in a prison. Or it has the ability, again, to be your passport, to give you access to opportunities, to give you access to new people, to new adventures, to new experiences, simply because you were willing to change the way you looked at something, the way you viewed something, the way you understood things, the way you judged things. Your perspective. That's the important thing. It's your perspective, not anybody else's. Whether their perspective is negative or positive, their perspective doesn't change anything. It's what you think. Now, if you adopt their perspective, if you accept their perspective, then it can indeed be one way or the other, prison or passport. But ultimately, it's your perspective. It's what you say about yourself. I was speaking to a friend of mine once, and they said something that I think is so powerful. And they said, be careful what you say to yourself, because you're listening. And it's so true. We listen to our own narrative. When we say positive things about ourselves, we then absorb what we say and we begin to act out what we say. When we say negative things about ourselves, we absorb what we say and we begin to act out what we say. So we have to be careful what we say to ourselves about ourselves because we are listening. And the same thing. So we have to change our perspective. One of the things that my best friend consistently tells me sometimes when I'm just not happy about how I look, I'm like, oh, I look this way, or I'm big, or I say it, I'll be honest. I'm like, yeah, I'm fat in this season of my life. And she's like, stop saying that about yourself. You're not. You may not be at your desired weight, but that doesn't make you fat. That doesn't make you undesirable. That doesn't make you ugly. That doesn't make you anything negative. It means that you are at a place that you want to change, but you are still beautiful. And I love her for that. And I have to remember that. Because again, if I look at myself as fat or ugly or undesirable, it's harder to want to change that because I'm looking at it from a negative perspective. However, if I'm understanding that I'm in a season of change, then I'm saying, okay, what are the different things that I can put in place to reach my desired outcome? If I'm in a process of change, that means that I'm not going to stay where I am. I am in a process and I have some place that I know I'm going to end up. And now I just need to take the necessary steps to get there. And one of those steps is changing my narrative because I'm listening. Another quote that I saw is changing your perspective changes your experience. And that goes right back to what I was saying about the gym. If I'm looking at the gym like a chore, like something that I dread, something that I hate, then when I go in there, everything is hard. Walking on the treadmill for even 5 minutes seems like an eternity. Lifting weights seems like all of my muscles begin to hurt as soon as I've done 2 reps. Everything is hard because I've came in there looking at this as a chore and something that I really hate doing versus going in there and saying, okay, here's my opportunity to be one step closer to my goal. Here's my opportunity to try out something new. Here's my opportunity to take that video I saw online and try and work it out. And maybe it might not go well. Maybe I'm not able to do as many reps as I wanted to. Maybe it is a little bit more challenging than I originally expected, but I did it. And every time I did it, I am one step closer. And yes, I may want to do it every day, but maybe I only did it twice this week, but that's 2 more times than I did it before. And that in and of itself is an accomplishment. Change your perspective. And wherever this applies in your life, whatever situation that you're going through, whatever circumstance that you may be facing, whatever change is happening in your life, regardless of how it started, regardless of how you got here, I'm asking you, I'm encouraging you today, change your perspective. If your perspective is not one of positivity, if your perspective is not one of recognizing that this can truly be for your good, if your perspective is not one where you are embracing this change because you believe in trusting the process, that you will come out on top better than you've ever been before. Today is your day to change that. Today is your day to speak differently about the situation and about yourself. Today is the day. Oh, I'm going to start that tomorrow. No, right now. Right now, I want to encourage you to speak positively about yourself. Today, I want you in this moment to speak positively about that adventure, about that new initiative that you're taking on, whether it's a new job, whether it's a new opportunity, whether you're starting a business, whether you're writing a song, whether you're writing a poem, whatever it is, today is the day. There's no need, no reason to wait. Today, start today. I'm encouraging you. I implore you to start today. Make a change, because your perspective truly has the ability to change everything. And when you do, when you change your perspective, I'm confident that you will see someone is waiting for you. I truly hope you are charged up as a result of this week's episode of Think Fancy. You have too much on the inside of you to just listen, so now you are empowered to do. You are indeed well able, fully capable, and properly equipped to do everything you were created and designed to do. Make this week a great one.